Just that ability to constantly update your listings as well with that optimization feature is nice. I could answer all the questions on the website and go into that optimization feature, and next thing I know, there's 60 more questions I need to answer.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott Branley. I'm here with my co-host DJ Sprague and our special guest, Hunter Graham from Antego. Hunter, it's great to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to do this first ever podcast.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on. You've been a shopper approved client for a while now, and we've done a case study with you, and we really wanted to kind of reach out and see how things are going and kind of tell your story a little bit more. So why don't we start with you? Tell us about Hunter and how you got into digital marketing and what you're doing at Antego.
It's kind of a funny story. I went to Jacksonville State University in Alabama for marketing. While I was working there and during high school, I worked at Pepsi, Buffalo Rock, but it's basically Pepsi. During COVID, I was working as a sales manager at Pepsi, and everything hit the fan. To be honest with you, they shoved me into the warehouse, said, "You're the new operations manager for Northeast Alabama." Basically, every single employee had quit. Every single employee walked out of the warehouse. To this day, I still don't know exactly what happened. Morale was already bad in the warehouse, but almost every single employee, when COVID came out, they just walked off the job. Management, temps,
wow,
warehouse pickers, everything. And
dang,
the plant manager basically said, "Hunter, you just graduated college, you're young, so you probably have the energy to be able to handle this." I think really I was just maybe the scapegoat, but we can roll with that. It was great though, in a way. I hated every minute of it, to be honest with you, but I learned a ton. And without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. I worked there basically as the operations manager all of 2020. And then right at the end, I was looking for another job. Applied at a company in Georgia called Antego, where I work now, for a marketing job, which is what I graduated with. I wanted to get back into marketing. They told me they were starting a warehouse in Utah and said, "How about, since you have all that experience from Pepsi, how about you go out to Utah for, 9 months, help start the warehouse, help get the hiring process rolled, also do marketing for us, and then move back to Georgia and just do marketing full-time in Noonan, Georgia," which is where they're headquartered, about 20 minutes south of Atlanta. I was like, sure. Went out to Utah and started the warehouse, and then I kind of fell in love with Utah, talked him into letting me stay here, and thankfully now I'm the director of eCommerce marketing and sales for Antego Tire and Wheel, and I don't really see myself ever leaving. I could leave Utah, but I couldn't ever leave mountains. Yeah, looking at the mountains every day is different. Just being able to go up in there after work, on a hard day, long day, it's different. Back home in Georgia, it's just humidity, heat, and flat. So, a lot of bugs.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and honestly too, the work-life balance, not that you don't work hard in Utah, but I feel like they honestly just understand family a lot better than the South does when it comes to working. It wasn't unheard of for me to be salaried at 40 hours, but I was working 70 plus hours a week, multiple weeks in a row, and that's just normal. Here you still work hard and you can still do that, but to be honest with you, I don't think people think that's normal. Yeah, so all in all, it was a tough time at Pepsi. I was there 6 years, but I didn't enjoy every second of it, but I learned so much, and I'm very thankful for everything I learned.
That's fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah, I lived in Charlotte for a few years, so I know about the humidity in the flat. I could not wait to get back to the mountains and the drier climate.
Yes. In Charlotte, I would consider that pretty hilly, honestly, for the South. So
yeah,
South Georgia, it's this.
Yeah.
So,
I spent a lot of time in Georgia, and it's pretty flat, but I get it. Well, that's great. That's a great story.
So you get on with Antego. Tell us kind of the background as you coming in. What was the company like? What was the situation going into Antego?
To be honest with you, without trying to make Antego sound bad, because this is not what I mean at all, but it was the most hands-on or hands-off job I've ever had kind of from the beginning. But I learned that was great. I came from a very strong corporate structure at Pepsi where everything has to be done by the book, but you could see flaws in the system and want to correct them, but you're told this is the way it's always been done. We're doing it this way. Why are you even thinking about it? At Antego, we're basically just given the opportunity to come up with the idea and run with it. And if you make mistakes, it's okay. One thing our CEO tells us all the time, I can't remember the exact quote, he's going to hate me for this, but it was a Steve Jobs quote. And it's something along the lines of, you'd rather have your employees make their own decisions, but make mistakes, than just not even making decisions. And as I was telling y'all before we started the interview, that's kind of our strength at Antego. We only have a team of 21 people. That's including our warehouse workers. So office staff's only about 6 or 7 employees. And we're able to take full advantage of it just without following certain constraints and just trusting your team to actually do their part. So yeah, I learned that very quickly when I started at Antego. To be quite honest with you, they just shipped me across the country and kind of just said, here's the warehouse. These are the SKUs that are going to be coming into the warehouse. Organize it how you think you need to organize it. So I just got on, spreadsheets and AutoCAD, and I'm like, okay, I got 44,000 square feet. What do I need to do with it? And really quickly, you put all that together. Me and my assistant manager, Corey, we go to Home Depot, got the chalk lines, ran chalk lines in the warehouse, put down the tape, everything. But it was awesome because, the difference with that is me and Corey were able to do it ourselves in 2 days. That's the strength of Antego. It's cheap, quick, do it in-house. Just like the super adaptability of Antego. Just another example of that too, while we're here on the adaptability, is we signed a terrible 3PL deal earlier this year. Honestly, if we weren't able to adjust quickly, it probably would have crushed us. It was our lowest quarter since, I believe they said 2016. That was before I worked at Antego. So you can imagine that Antego started in 2014 as an incorporated company. Didn't even have a building until 2016. So if that's our worst quarter since then, that's not good. But we were able to make the changes very quickly and bounce out of it and roll forward. And since then, we wound up, we're still in the green compared to last year. I don't think without our structure that would have been possible. I think we'd be in some deep trouble. So just the adaptability and the ability to make your own decisions is awesome. And so far it's working out great for us. And I love it just because you're never being micromanaged. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Being able to be flexible and agile and play to your strengths and apply them every day. Fantastic. So kind of building on what Scott asked. So back in 2023, you were doing about 200 or 300 unique visitors a day. And then around December, January, you were killing it at 20 to 22,000 a day. And now you're down around 15,000 a day. But tell us what happened. What changed at AntegoWheels.com to create this incredible spike, and then leveling off at a very high traffic rate, about 4,000% higher than where you were previous to June?
Basically, what we did is, before we even came in contact with Shopper Approved, we had redone our Shopify and really paid attention to SEO on our own, such as like fixing backlinks and even adding SEO to like images, making sure they're optimized. We have a lot of SEO, I noticed before I took over at Antego, where it's not that there wasn't SEO written, it just wasn't written for the search engine or the customer necessarily. It was just kind of just keyword stuffing, to be quite honest with you. So really a lot of that cleaning up. And then thankfully, I met one of your salesmen, Marcus Mann. Met him in line at a luncheon for a conference, and ate lunch with him. And that was one of the best things I ever did. The lunch was not good, but the conversation was awesome. And as you can see, after that, he quickly convinced me, and I was able to convince my CEO, but he was able to quickly convince me to try out Shopper Approved Reviews, which was humongous for us as far as authority score, organic traffic, honestly, even conversion rate. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it did increase our conversion rate as well. We have a lot of older clientele. I believe especially older clientele that really like to see some type of trust badge on a website. They'll honestly even call us and be like, hey, we appreciate that our information is going to be secure. We've heard about like all the cyber hacks and everything. And so that's one thing. And you can see that huge jump immediately. When was the review
So,
put on?
Yeah, looking at your records, you installed Shopper Approved Reviews, ratings and reviews, around June 3rd. And then in July or August, early August, you installed Q&A. You could obviously see the traffic starting to build and the momentum starting to build. And then you guys just took off here in November, December, January, February, March. And then obviously had a decline, and now you're crawling back out. And the number of keywords, which is really phenomenal, that you guys have. So you guys went from essentially 0 page 1 keywords to having thousands. So that's phenomenal.
Can't remember exactly when the Google update came out, but it was pretty soon after we put the Q&A and the reviews on, and I remember that was just a humongous spike. Google. Another thing we added to the website too to add context is we did add a blog. There was no blog previously, but between the reviews, the blog, the Q&A, the SEO fixes, Google just absolutely ate it up. They see that it's not just being AI written, which as DJ told me, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just if it's copying the same information that's been put somewhere else. So it could see the unique expert written information. It could see trustworthy reviews. And I think it's able to pair that up. And then on top of that, now with the review or the Q&A, we're even able to get basically keywords and keyword search terms that I would have never thought to add to the website, because it's stuff that customers are searching, such as like, what PSI does this 1566 tire for a John Deere need? Like, I mean, I know what that is, but it's listed on the website in a chart, but now if someone actually searches that in Google, lo and behold, Antego pops up, usually top 3. So just stuff like that. And I mean, even if that's not necessarily resulting in a direct sale, that builds our brand name. People are going to come shop on our website again in the future. I've noticed people now more than ever comment on our blogs. People message us or call us even just asking for info because they feel like they can trust us. And then they tell us, hey, next time I need something, I'm going to order from you guys. So just kind of builds that trust with the community. And that's really what it is. I mean, we do golf cart and trailer and snow blowers and other tire and wheels, but primarily we're lawnmowers, and that's, so landscapers that's a blue collar job, and they care about trustworthiness and honesty, and they know they can depend on you and everything like that. And the fact that they can just see all that, it really just does wonders. So, I mean, it's been great for us.
Yeah, those trust signals are important. Last time we talked, I think it was in January or February, you guys had seen a increase in your conversion rate by 272%, according to your Shopify data. Don't know if you've looked at it recently, but be curious to see what's going on there. And you've since added TrustGuard.
That's another thing, actually. I did get that confused in my head with the reviews when I was talking about the older clientele. But that was humongous as well. All of it just kind of coincides. As far as the conversion rate, it did take the big drop, and we did some research, and we really figured out what it was. Is we had so many customers messaging us basically in our Shopify chat app that we normally could respond to. We could not respond to them in a timely manner because of all the issues I was telling you about with like Amazon and our other sales channels. And I really would trace back the biggest drop in the conversion rate to that, because since then our conversion rate, it's not quite up to 272%, but it's like, I think it's up like 160 something percent again compared to that drop.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. And honestly, just not trying to plug a company. This isn't something you guys do, but Gorgias has been a great chat box for us. If you run into an issue where you can't keep up, with like messages, just saying, look into it, it can really help. Instead of having to hire an expert customer service rep or delegate that to another employee, Gorgias is really taking a lot of the heavy lifting off of our shoulders. So that's also helped with our conversion rate, to be honest.
That's cool. Yeah, we actually integrate with Gorgias.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, they're a great company, great partner, great product. So what else have you guys done at Antego to really kind of turn the corner and obviously improve your business, your revenue, since you started kind of digging into the whole, SEO and website side of it? Anything beyond what you talked about with the blog and Shopper Approved and Q&A and TrustGuard, or just?
Maybe I can let some people in on a secret. To be honest, I don't know why. It just seems like it's a secret in this industry. Yeah, we're able to cut back on our PPC budget. That's what good SEO will do for you. So, our net's looking a little bit better in the grand scheme of things.
Your CAC's gone down, right?
Yeah, exactly. It just blows my mind. I talked to a ton of people in this industry, and like they don't really even know what SEO stands for, and like they just dump all their money into Google ads, Bing ads, and then ads on the search. Not the search engines, but the sales channels. And next thing you know, your margins are not great. Yeah, SEO is magical, guys.
Yeah. It really is, especially when you're optimizing for those high converting, low funnel keywords around specific products or product specs. Does this tire or wheel set fit with this particular cart or vehicle? That kind of thing. Those are high converting keywords, which you can't really do in PPC anyway, right? You can't possibly build enough ads for very specific spec-based product questions. But with Q&A, you can do that quickly and easily and optimize for thousands of search terms. It would be really difficult with paid ads.
Yeah, and back to optimizing. You just said that it reminded me. The Q&A. we've answered all of our customer questions. And now one thing that we're really working on in there is it has a bit of an AI optimization feature where it'll crawl other competitor listings similar, so different sales channels, different websites, and it'll see questions that customers ask there. I believe it'll look for questions that customers have searched into Google, and it'll actually tell you the search volume based on a different phrase. That's what we're working on now. It's been good for optimizing our products, just because, like I said, sometimes we don't think of any other ways to optimize our product. We think we've loaded all the keywords that we can in there without like keyword cramming, and then it'll show us something on a competitor site or say, hey, no one's asked this, but this is a possibly good idea. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it tells us stuff and we'll laugh and be like, oh, that doesn't make sense, but that's AI. But sometimes we do get a great question and it's something we wouldn't have thought about. So just that ability to constantly update your listings as well with that optimization feature is nice. I mean, I could answer all the questions on the website and go into that optimization feature, and next thing I know, there's 60 more questions I need to answer. So,
well, and each time you answer one of those questions, that gives you another opportunity. There's an asset out there, right? There's an asset that Google's going to find, and now people will be able to find that, right? So you're multiplying your efforts by doing it once. And that's one of the beautiful things about how we set up the Q&A to work is you create these every answer is an asset. It's an SEO asset that's out there that's generating customers for you for free.
Yeah.
So the more you can do that, the better. And yeah, I mean, you're living proof of it, right? Like you're doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's really exciting.
Also, honestly, just gives me ideas for blogs, because I can't always give a long-handed answer to that. I mean, that you don't want to read a long-handed answer to a quick question. But sometimes it's a question I'm like, you know what? I've never written a blog about this, but it could be an answer that warrants a little more detail. And
right.
Next thing I know, instead of me having to spend 10 minutes brainstorming, like, oh my gosh, what if I don't want to write just some pointless blog this week, but I need to write something. So, I mean, I usually just go through the Q&A if I can't come up with something, and I'll scroll through there, and sure enough, there's usually a question on there that warrants a long-handed response.
Longer answer. As you know, we talked about before, if you link to that blog from your Q&A, oftentimes the blog and the Q&A will show up on page one. So you're getting a double hit, a twofer. Q&A will show up in the featured snippet, and then the blog will show up in maybe position 1, 2, or 3. But now you've got two assets showing up in the top of search when you do that deep linking. And of course, it tells Google that, oh, this is an authoritative site on this keyword, topic, subject, question, because you've got a short answer in Q&A and a long authoritative answer in your blog. So that raises the authority level of your website for those search terms.
Well, this is cool. I mean, we really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story, because it's cool to see what can happen when you take action and you have strategy and the right tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I remember when DJ interviewed you in previously, you were saying that like you were getting like 200 to 250 people a month to your website, and then you add the tools and the strategy, and it just like transforms, right? It just blew up, right?
Yeah, it went from a dead site to a fairly popular site in the industry. I mean, and it's interesting because when I started at Antego, to be able to find an Antego product, you usually had to have Antego in the name. Now a lot of our products, I can just search, for example, a tire size 18850. I mean, obviously there's competitors stuff that pops up, there's ads that pop up, there's Amazon listings that pop up, but there's also usually on the first page now 2 or 3 Antego organic listings. They might not be 1, 2, but that's free. I'm not paying for a PPC ad on that anymore. So
that's money.
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah, man.
It's only going to get higher over time too, is what people really don't realize. I feel like with SEO, it's a compounding growth. Like the more you have, the better it gets.
Exactly.
PPC, the more money you dump, I mean, you're putting water on the fire, but you're not. I don't really know the right analogy for that, but it's just it's good, but it's not the end all be all. Basically,
it erodes your margins. Well, and the other fact is, statistically, people click on organic listings at a much higher rate than they do paid. So, if you only have paid, if that's all you've got, then yes, it's better than nothing. But the click-through rate is statistically much lower. It's around, 1.2%, 2%. But when you've got a top organic listing, you can be 25, 31% click-through rate. versus a 1 or 2%. So it definitely helps, obviously, with the traffic, but also with the CAC, customer acquisition cost, because you're not paying for that traffic from a click perspective.
I have to talk to my boss about this sometimes because some of my pay is salary and has to do with how our ads are performing. And sometimes we'll have, better months, but technically the PPC ads didn't perform as well. And he's like, well, it looks like you're going to do as good this month. And I'm like, no, I cut back because the SEO is doing good. Let's not I like even him, I have to kind of get that in his head because he's like the numbers are good, but like we can't pay you as much sales because like you commission because, and I'm like, no. Let's think about it like big picture. This is SEO, man. So
you're affecting the entire equation, not just one little piece of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I really wanted to, I could probably optimize the heck out of the PPC to make my paycheck look a little better, but it's going to hurt, us.
Yeah.
So, we constantly have that topic, but it's a fun little debate to have, I guess. So, yeah, you guys and all the other SEO improvements have kind of opened his eyes to it finally. So now he's, like I said, we're pretty hands off at Antego as far as each of us able to be independent. So at this point, he's like, you know what? If the results are good, I'm not going to say anything. So that's where we're at.
Well, send us his address. We'll send him a copy of the book, and he'll understand what you're doing.
Definitely. I've got mine right here.
There you go.
Nice.
You'll understand the magic behind the shopper approved Q&A sauce.
Yeah. Yep. Cool, man. Well, we really appreciate your time. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Just what DJ said, sauce. All this really is like a recipe. You just need to know the right recipe, put it together, and you can make something awesome. Don't muck it up. Like pretend PPC is the salt. You don't want to add too much. It's good, but too much is bad. So, it's seriously just a recipe. Not all businesses are going to have the same recipe, but I promise you, they're probably going to be somewhere along the lines of what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, trust and just an organic, natural, honest impression is going to go a lot further than anything else. I feel like in any business, I don't see why I wouldn't. So as far as my closing thoughts, read the book, Reputation King, put the Q&A and the reviews on your website, and then just sit back and hopefully enjoy. It's not
enjoy
necessarily
the ride.
Yeah, it hasn't been a single bad thing from it yet. So I can't really say anything else other than I'm excited for the future and the continued growth. And let's talk in a few months, and I guarantee you that chart's going to be back to where it was before we had all those hiccups with the conversion rate and everything like that. So yeah, so happy I met Marcus and then started using y'all's software.
Well, we appreciate you having on board. It's been fantastic, and thanks for taking time out of your day, Hunter. I know you're super busy, keeping the wheels on literally and figuratively over there at Antego Tire and Wheel. So look forward to our next conversation, and thanks everybody for joining us. And as Hunter said, go out and get your free copy of Reputation King at reputationking.com and see what it is that we're all about, the strategies, the concepts, the tools, and how this helps drive traffic and conversion. Have an amazing day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.